Hey everyone, welcome back to Ormsby Farm, the Halfway Homestead. So on today's video, my title pretty much says it all. There's a lot going on in the world right now. There's a lot going on in our own government. So I wanted to kind of make this video to kind of talk about how I prep and save money on food to where I can make it about $1.25 a dinner, which if you kind of work things out, that's about $30-ish a month for one grown adult. We're going to talk about kids, but I'm not going to talk much about the candy stuff. I am sitting in my canning room because most of y'all know I do can and grow a lot of what I eat, but I wanted this video to be very universal, so anybody tuning in to watch it that just wants to save money can do it. So we're just going to talk about strictly walking grocery store and buying their meats, their vegetables, their starches. And we're not going to talk about Sam's Club on pricing. I'm going to talk a little bit about pricing, but we're not going to talk about like Sam's Club and Costco and those kind of things because there's a membership involved with that. And again, I want it to be very run-of-the-mill. You're able to walk in, get it, and prep for a whole month of food for your family. With that being said, if you are new here, if this video just popped up into your feed and you want to learn about saving money, but you also are kind of interested in baking from scratch or chickens or how to raise your own meat, I hope you go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the bell because then YouTube will notify you when I put new videos out. And again, if you're new, I am Casey from Ormsby Farm, the Halfway Homestead. I was the city boy that moved out to the country, lived the farm life, but then I moved back into the city right now, but I'm planning to build my own forever homestead back in the country. So I hope you come along and join me for this journey, but also I hope this video is helpful to you and that it helps you save money because not being able to feed your family is a gut-wrenching experience. And I want to help as much as I can. Teach you different tricks and tips on saving money and meal prepping so that when stuff like this happens, you know how to deal with it. But also, if you're watching and you are new, I do a live every Monday night. And tomorrow night, which will be Monday, I'll be going live and I'm going to be doing giveaways. I'm doing 3 different giveaways that are kind of this themed food security stuff, and they're going to be gift cards. I'm giving away 3 different gift cards. So I hope you come in and join and hopefully win one of the gift cards. But let's go ahead and let's get into the intro and get into talking about how you can do about $1.25 a dinner per person.
Ormsby Farms and the Halfway Homestead.
Alrighty, so I'm getting all of my stuff together because I have notes and all that good stuff. But one thing that I want to start off by saying before we get into the breakfasts is how I meal prep. And I'm going to leave this PDF in my Linktree link. So if you want it, it's a free downloadable link. And it's how I meal prep out. Now here, what I've just recently done is I've meal prepped all the way until New Year's Day. Can you see that? So when I did my most recent shopping, because of everything that's going on, the price hikes, the, tariffs, all of that kind of stuff, the government shutting down, I wanted to make sure that I and my family were prepared throughout the rest of the year for our food security. So that's what this is. Again, this will be in my Linktree. My Linktree is always linked in the show notes. Click on it. It will be one of the top tabs. You can go ahead and download the PDF. Another thing that I also do, if you notice on there, is the Monday through Friday is usually dinners. And then Saturday, Sunday, I have 2, breakfast and the dinner. I work a full-time job, so I usually don't prep out breakfasts and lunch like that. I work for the school system. And one thing that I encourage people to do if you are going through hard times and you are planning for your child, take advantage of every program there is through your county through your school system, the free and reduced lunches. Take advantage of it. Not only does it feed your child and to take the burden off of you, but it helps support the school nutrition program through the state of whatever state that you're in, and it supports the workers that work in school nutrition. So I just wanted to kind of get on my soapbox and say that first and foremost. I don't normally prep quote unquote lunches. Now, if you are a stay-at-home mom and you have your kids at home, we'll talk a little bit about lunches, but what I always do, especially when I'm off or it's the weekends, I kind of count leftovers or quick and simple, easy sandwich, grab and go meals for lunch. Something that would cost me anywhere from 50 to 75 cents if we're getting real bougie kind of pricing. I always like to keep my breakfasts for adult and or child at 75 cents. So if you're prepping your meals, try to think 75 cents. And I will leave the price right here, how much that is per person for a month, because me and math are not good friends. And then I like to keep, for an adult, I like to keep my meals at roughly around $1.25. Now, I do average out throughout the week because I do have some bougie meals that I usually put in that are a little bit more, but then I'll have nights where I'm just doing a very simple rice and bean kind of dinner, and that brings my average down. And trying to keep the kids around $1.10, $1.15. So let's first talk about breakfast. If y'all can hear, of course, we're going through that crud time where it's getting cold. So excuse my voice. But one of the main things that we think about when we think breakfast is we think eggs. Now, eggs are still at a relatively normal price in the grocery store, but if you want healthier eggs or your prices are really, really high or you don't see them at the grocery store, I suggest going onto your local Facebook and search to see who around you has local eggs. Because definitely in the area where we live, it's tons of people trying to sell their eggs. And not only are you getting eggs at a decent cost, you probably will be able to talk them down on a price or barter, or you're also supporting a small local farm. So I try to balance out to about an egg a day per person, per child, per whatever. Sometimes you'll do 2, but then you can kind of work it in there that you have oatmeal or something that's not 2 eggs every single day, because that can get quite expensive. One thing that I do that I love doing, especially at the peak season of when my eggs are laying so much, is I like to do egg bakes. So this is an egg bake. I got these bulk off of the Amazon, and I made a bunch of them and vacuum sealed them. This right here is good for probably 4 adults. I'd say 4 kids too. Family of 4. This right here, add that with maybe a slice of bacon or a little bit of sausage or any kind of breakfast meat that you want to do. There are many different ways. You don't have to buy the expensive bacon or the expensive sausage if you want to add a little bit of protein to your breakfasts. There are things like Spam and the Vienna sausages, which I know most people are thinking, ooh, gross. But when you're hungry and you want to add some protein in there, I'm telling you, it does the trick. This right here, because of the eggs, has a bunch of protein in it where you really wouldn't even need to add sausage to it if you didn't want to. Now, one thing that I will do for this is I will maybe throw a biscuit with it. So I'll do it in force, I'll throw a biscuit, and that's a very filling breakfast for an adult. So it definitely will be a filling one for the child. This right here cost me, now remember I have my own eggs, so I'm not going to work all that kind of stuff into it. But this right here cost me about $2.60. So that puts me at a little bit lower than my 75 cents of breakfast that I try to stick to. This is a great, great, great thing. Also, if you have eggs and you want to bulk up your eggs in a scrambled eggs, Adding a little bit of milk is going to stretch out that egg so it seems like more eggs. I like to add some potatoes in there, which gives it a little bit more bulk to fill bellies, because then that way it's not all eggs that are in this egg bake. You can put any type of veggies, any type of meat that you want in there. Do some chicken if you want to do some chicken. It would be really good. But that's one of the things that I really enjoy doing is little egg bakes. And it's definitely something that you, as a family of 4 or however many kids you have, can go ahead and prep some of those. And even if you don't have vacuum seal bags, putting them in a Ziploc and freezing it, then you have it for later. So it's a quick, easy meal. It's something that's inexpensive that will fill bellies when need be. Oatmeal is another one. Oats are very inexpensive. Oats you can get from pretty much anywhere. And I'm thinking, when I thought of this video, I wanted to think, what are some of the big things that food pantries would give out if you would need to go to a food pantry? And let me just say this, there is no shame in that game. You have to do what is best for your family and to keep your family fed. So there are some that feel very uncomfortable about going to a food bank. Don't. That's why there are food banks, is because people that can't afford it want to help any way that they can. So when I was thinking of this video, I'm trying to think of the different staples that they would give that is easy, that you can use and you can stretch out to feed families. Oats is usually one of them, and or oatmeal or grits. Cornmeal, which is very inexpensive, is a great way to do some grits. Grits go a long way. Corn, period, goes a long way. So that is one of the staples that if you get from your local food bank, or if you get it, if you have money that you want to put aside to have a small amount, maybe an extra $25 a week to get some groceries, this is a way that you can get it. If you get the cornmeal, it will last you all month of stretching out and doing a couple different grit breakfasts. Again, it fills bellies up, and so no one goes hungry. Again, when I talk about lunches, I don't plan a lot of lunches because when I plan my dinners, I think of leftovers the next day. So it'd be dinner, the following lunch would be a leftover. So that's saving money, and plus it's in the cost of what you're already cooking for your dinner. So it brings down your cost per meal. I'm going to get my notes out, and we're going to talk about kids first. Now, one thing about us Americans is we are big into overeating. Over portions, larger portions than they really need to be. For a child, and we're talking child anywhere from 2 years old to, let's just say, roughly about 14, because once they get into the 15 and up, I consider adults and would give them adult portions. What their body needs is 2 ounces of meat, roughly anywhere from 5 to 6 ounces of starch. That can be rice, that can be potatoes, that can be noodles. And then also you want to do a half a cup of vegetables. All that right there. And we're going to talk about the cheapest that I found when I shopped at Aldi's. And I love Aldi's. I'm going to push out Aldi's so much because they have great products for a very inexpensive price. And when you are on a budget or you are trying to feed your family for cheaper, finding these places can be a godsend. So, when we're talking about 2 ounces of meat, I'm going to put little pictures right here. My biggest go-to when I'm trying to stay on a budget is chicken legs. I know chicken legs are probably not the most favorite of most people, but it's the most inexpensive, and you can make it as tasty and flavorful as you want it. That would put anywhere from a $5 package of 12 legs at 12 dinners for a child, or 6 for an adult at 2 legs. I also like to, and I kind of had some little props there too. Now again, I said I wasn't going to talk a lot about canning, but if you are a canner or if you're interested in canning, I have tons of videos. Go ahead and check out some of my videos, and I've shown how to do this. But I like to do canned chicken. Now, yes, does it look appetizing? No, but it is so delicious. And this right here can turn into a chicken noodle soup, or it can turn into a chicken casserole for anywhere from 6 to 8. And what I paid for this right here is about $2.75 is what this costs. So we're talking a $3 meal for 6 to 8 people. Very inexpensive. Or also if you're doing for a family of 4 and leftovers, it brings your cost down then. I like to do that with the legs also. Also, you can't forget your animals. That's another great way to have a little bit of extra protein to put on top of dog's food. Or if you're unable to purchase animal food, giving them chicken and some boiled vegetables that we'll talk about is a good way to feed them as well. So, with a pack of the $5, I'm going to put it again right here, the $5 chicken legs at Aldi's, we're talking 6 meals for an adult or 12 meals for a child. That's huge. That brings the total to about 42 cents a meal for your main protein, okay? 42 cents a meal. Also, if you get another one of the big ones that they always send out at the food bank is rice. Rice I love because it is a big filler, it's very inexpensive, and it keeps bellies full. A $3 bag of rice, whether it's $2.95, whatever it is, I'll leave it up right here, is going to be 16 dinners for a child, because remember, we're doing about the 5 to 6 ounce of rice, or it's going to be 48 dinners for an adult, because with an adult, they don't need as much starch. You need about 4 ounces of meat as an adult. You want to divide that by 2 for your starch, and then you're going to multiply that by 2 for your veggies. Just a little, I'll have it all in the show notes. Don't get too confused. So, talking about kids, that $3 bag of rice at 16 dinners is about 19 cents a meal. So now we have the 42 cents and the 19 cents. I looked all over. Now, I grow a lot of the veggies. About 80-90% of the veggies that we eat are either homegrown or purchased from a produce stand. But again, I wanted you to be able to walk into a grocery store and be able to pick out any of these things. And there are the things like this, which is going to be like your canned veggies, which is kind of what I have back here, or this, which is like a frozen veggie, which is what I have in here. Now, those frozen veggie ones are about $1.50, depending on your vegetables that you get. And you can either get 3 dinners for kids or 2 dinners for an adult out of it. And that puts that at about 50 cents. Excuse me, y'all. Now, adding all of that up together, if you're doing some rice, a chicken leg, and some veggies for your kid, which is a very filling meal, very healthy meal, you can add whatever sauce you want to it. That's going to be $1.11 meal. Okay, so we're staying in our $1.10, $1.15 for each child. And then we're also looking at about $1.25-ish for an adult. There are many different other meats that you can do. I don't want you to think that just chicken legs is, if you're on a budget, you can get. Other things that I get is I buy the big family pack of breasts at Aldi's. Leave it right here. There's about 6 in there, which is about $2 a breast. The breasts are huge. So I weighed this one out. This one here is about 7.5 ounces. So that's 2 meals for an adult, 3 meals for a child. So you're keeping it down to that chicken price. Another thing that also I love is going to be the pork chops. This one, even though they're very thin, this is a pork chop. I actually got this from Aldi when we went because we were low on pork chops. That is very inexpensive as well. My bougie, pinky up, that I do like is I do love seafood. Seafood's really good for brain health and all that kind of stuff. So we did some salmon. Now the salmon, there I can get about 6 fillets out of the big fillet, which is about $14. So we're looking a little over almost $3 per meal. which if you balance it out through the week, remember I talked about having one of those rice and beans nights, that it will keep your prices down. Another thing that I wanted to show you is I love to do these kind of things. Don't sleep on the canned meats that are in the store. The Spam, there's chicken, there's tuna. I can my own ground beef. Those are great to put in casseroles or tacos or anything like that. Also, soups. I can most of my own soups, but if you grab soups, you can bulk them up. Grab the canned soups, you can bulk them up with a little bit of broth, and that's a wonderful, warm, belly-filling soup with some bread. Split pea soup was the one that I kind of thought cheapest, because this right here, we'd add a thing of broth with it, and it will be about 8 servings in there, and this cost me $1.15. $1.15. So good, so cheap, so easy. And it will, again, fill bellies. That's what you're wanting to do, is fill bellies, y'all. So I hope this was helpful to you. Remember, if you want more tips and tricks, come tomorrow at my live, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Ormsby Farm, the Halfway Homestead. I will be going live. I'm doing some giveaways for gift cards, and we can talk more about pricing of meals and how to keep your budget good. But that is a way that you can keep dinners to about $1.10 to $1.25. Putting it to about, for a family of 4, that's $120 a month. Huh? With the grocery prices now, that is very good. Now, let me tell you, if you have any other suggestions or want to leave comments that may help viewers, leave it in my comment section and I'll highlight them and comment back. And I love that we as a community can help each other out and give suggestions to each other. But y'all, if you haven't already, I hope you go ahead and press that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video, press the bell, because then YouTube will notify you every single time that I put out a new video. But you also can follow me and hit me up on social media. Instagram, Facebook, Threads, all at Ormsby Farms. And I will see y'all tomorrow night, Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time for my live. Bye, y'all. Be blessed. And y'all, don't let it stress you out. There are many ways that you can fill bellies. Bye, y'all. Be blessed.